having mastered our judgment of distance and our true times, today's exercise is learning how to do a downright blow on a triangle step. The downright blow, cut number 1 in broadsword, Mandrita squalembrato in Italian, the Oberhau in German, is the most basic attack you can make, okay? From somewhere high on the right, swinging down at a sort of diagonalish angle like that. It's the most natural and powerful attack you've got. However, when we make it, we generally don't want to step straight ahead because our opponent's sword extends straight ahead and we don't want to walk onto it. So generally speaking, we want to step around our opponent's sword. There are other reasons to step around it. It's mechanically better for you. You tend to attack your opponent where they are mechanically weakest and force them to spend time reorienting in order to deal with it. It also allows you to strike and fly out, to get back out of distance and out of your opponent's reach as quickly as possible, using what we call the corrective step. So basically, this is what it should look like. Just going to stand directly in front of the opponent's sword. Rather than step forward onto that point, I'm going to step out to the right, strike as that foot lands, and then make a corrective step which gets me back out of distance. So now he can't reach me, I can't reach him. So that's the fundamental drill. Boom. Okay. Now, you can do this. If you have a buckler, do it from right shoulder with a buckler. If you have a longsword, then do it with a longsword. Okay, same action, same footwork. Things to watch. I'm not sure if the video is you're going to see my feet, but we'll get back far enough so that you can. So with our feet, here's what you want to know. As you step to the side, this foot lands with the heel and rolls onto the toe in the direction that your body is moving so that your knee can bend and absorb that force. You do not want to hook this foot around too early and have the force going transversely across your knee because your knee does not bend in that direction. Okay, and Liam can tell you all about that. Okay, that's bad. So we pass, we land, we roll, and then we swivel. Okay? So that's the footwork. Our weighting, generally speaking, if we're going to land our attack on the first pass, I'm going to start, in this case being silver, I'm going to start even weighted. As I land, I shift to a forward weight. I put the weight on my front leg. I do that because if I stand upright, I can't reach. I've fallen short. If I forward weight, that gives me extra numbers of inches to hit. Then, as I bring this foot around in my retreating step, I back weight because that gets me back out of distance. So I strike and fly out, strike and fly out, get into distance and out of distance on a single combination step. Out of distance, in distance, out of distance again. The biggest issue people tend to have when they're learning this is the overcorrect. So rather than going step, heels in line, so you can see I'll back to my initial L shape, people tend to go beyond that. They go step too far. Now, this movement is a real thing, okay? That's an incantata in Italian or an avult in, is what the British called it, okay? And if I want to do an incantata or an avult, fair enough, I can do that. But if I don't deliberately want to do it, don't do it, because it's an unstable position, okay? The other problem with it is one of distance, okay? I strike and come back out of distance, but every inch I go beyond heels in line gets me closer and further into distance again, which defeats the purpose of making the corrective step in the first place. So the way I teach people to avoid that is, remember, it's striking and flying out. It's strike and fly out. And if you think about that retreating step as going backwards rather than sideways, your brain will just bring your heels into line. You don't need to think about it. Okay? So it is, do it at the Pell, strike, and fly out. And if you think about I'm going backwards, that will happen and you won't go beyond heels in line. So somebody asked, do you always strike with the right foot and then retreat with the left foot, or do you sometimes strike when the left foot lands? And the answer to that is yes, sometimes you can. The reason to do that is essentially it manipulates distance and time. The way it works is this. If I forward weight on the first cut and then back weight on the corrective step, that brings me out of distance and I'm safe. However, I can either, perhaps the other guy is extra tall and it's hard to get close to him, or I can deliberately do this. I can deliberately fall a little bit short on that first step, hold my sword back a little bit and strike on the second step. And the reason is this. So here I am in open ward, I step forward and right, and even with my forward weighting, I'm out of distance, I can't reach the Pell. However, watch what happens as I bring my rear foot around behind me. I do reach the Pell. The movement from here to here actually gains you reach. So I can delay the landing of my cut just a little bit until that rear foot comes around, which makes the cut come in at a slightly different timing, and it also gives me a few extra inches that I don't normally have when I'm making that attack. So it would look something like this. Boom. And the movement from here to there helps add a little bit of extra power in that blow as well. So you've got two variations to work on. It's either strike and fly out, which is honestly what you're going to do 90% of the time, but there's also the delay and strike, and that doesn't necessarily mean much of a delay. Okay, your triangle sets can be really fast. Okay, that is an alternative as well. So practice it with your broadsword, sword and buckler, longsword, whatever you've got. That's the exercise. Watching, of course, our true times, making sure hand, body, foot, feet, and that's it.